Hello and welcome to Budget Model Railways, and a lot of you will be really pleased to know we're back in the shed and running double O. I'm also using the gimbal mount and the microphone, so hopefully the video quality will be quite good. That's the excellent Hornby J15. That's probably one of the nicest locos I've got. So since the last video, with a lot of clutter and a lot of comments and a lot of helpful advice, we've made a lot of progress. So I thought I'd give you an update on where we are. So many of you will remember the initial view with all the clutter there and everything else. And as you can see, it's gone. So I took a lot of advice from a lot of people, as it happens. I'm just going to pan down there. That's a nice little Hornby Railroad loco running around there. So first off was all the timber and everything that was here. So some of it's got binned. Some of it has gone up there. But it's been screwed in because it's heavy. And the ironing board's up there as well. Some of it went into my wife's cabin because it was hers. Some of it went back into Doug's cabin because it was his. And 4 crates of rubbish have gone to the tip. And then I've had a restack. However, what was the big help was Dan, thank you very much, who made me a very nice offer for my layout that lived under there. Turned out he lived 5 minutes walk from where we do. So that's gone. So that created all that space under there. So what's in there now is the N-gauge exhibition layout that was on the shelf has gone in there. I've cleared out and condensed some of the wagons. I've got loads for sale still on my website. Not my website, still on eBay, MPO-MICH. And that's created all that space in there. And also in there I've got a lot of my building materials and that sort of thing. So this is now back to being a workbench. And it's full of stuff because I've been building, which I'll show you in a second. And it's also full of stuff. Gimbal's doing strange stuff there because Doug's using it. However, what it's meant I can also do, because we've had a tidy up, is put my fantastic little N-gauge compact complete layout can now live in there, away from the conservatory where it's hot and in bright sunlight, to in there. And as you can see, we're running trains. So let's talk about some of the projects that we've got. So Doug, the reason why we got a lot of electrical stuff here is putting point motors into the fiddle yard. So we've got 3 there. I'm going to try and pan slowly because I know people prefer it. And 3 over here. And he's going to get very clever with his electronics. It's helpful having a degree electronics student in the house. And he's going to rig up a control board where instead of having to flick 2 switches every time or 6 switches, he will wire it so that 1 switch will do 1 road. So I can literally press a switch. I want number 1 road, number 2 road, number 3 road, number 4 road, which will really change what we're able to do with the fiddle yard. That's that part. Because we've now lost some of the solar power and everything up there, I'll now be able to turn half of the viaduct loop into scenic. So this can now be a hill with the airfield. By putting the point motors there, we won't need to have to be able to get at it. Doug's also going to switch the controllers for me so that we have 1 here for the top loop and 1 there by the control panel for the fiddle yard. That's the plan anyway. Let's see. He's usually very clever at that sort of thing. And then over here, what I've been busy on, which is why the workbench is a little cluttered, is I've finally got round to doing the retaining walls. Just cardboard, recycled cardboard off some storage units, brick paper that I've had, super quick brick paper. Little bit tricky to film because it's under the hidden side, if you can see what I mean. But where the train is there, this is all brick papered. Some buttresses, some retaining walls, posts. So I really enjoyed doing that. The army depot's pretty much ready to go. I've got to put down the concrete base, get the fence put up, but that then will look partially finished. And I can then get on with scenic here. The big area there will go back to being a station. I might make it 2 platform because I was so taken with the North Norfolk Railways station at the place that's now, the name's now forgotten me, but it will mean pushing the hill back a bit more. So I've got to work on that. The buildings there are sort of in storage, but also we might have a village. And it'll give me more room at the front here as well to be scenic. The other plan then, I just missed the J15. What I will do at the end is do hold on, please, because I will do some filming of the locos running. So if you have watched as far as 5 minutes, it's not going to be me all talking. I'm gonna show these locos in a minute. So that's that little railroad one that came out this year. Extra weight added, and he's now a lovely little runner. So the other plan then, I did have all sorts of plans over here for harbours and all sorts of things, but what we're going to do is just carry on the country scenic route around the back there. Won't be very wide, 4 or 5 inches wide, through there, and then out through a tunnel mouth. So the shed will then be pretty scenic. Yeah, it gives you a good panoramic view. It might look cluttered, but bear in mind a lot of that under there, if it was behind cupboards, you wouldn't notice it. And it's going to make a fantastic scenic railway when it's done. I've decided, rather than doing lots of different sort of a town scene and a harbour scene and a countryside scene, it's just going to be one big countryside scene with different things in it, but a bit more like the American idea that they tend to do. Pick a theme and stick to it. So I'm just going to come in here for the Bagnall. Another excellent little railroad loco. Head gimbal's having fun. Going to slow that down a little bit actually, so bear with me while I go over to the controller. And I'm all sort of fired up on my 00. I still like my N, but I've got a bit of time now before we go away on holiday, and then I go off to camp, which will take 4 weeks out in all. So my plan, just got a good shot there because they're both coming along. My plan is to get some scenery done before we go and start working on that. I am going to continue to declutter some of my collection. So you'll have seen quite a bit of the European HO has been for sale. I've got some 00 locos for sale and some coaches. So I'm going to thin it out a little bit as well. But that's going to look great running around there. Past the windmill. As soon as I saw the windmill in the loft when I started that hill, I knew exactly what I wanted to go there. And I have now found my windmill sails. So I will be able to fix that. I've got a back scene as well for the rest. So it's all coming along quite nicely now. I still like N. I still think it was the way to go. But I've got a 00 in the shed now. I've got a really nice 00 layout and lots of locos and rolling stock. So time to get back to that for a little while. So J15 running through. That's a wonderful shunting loco as well. Even if it is a tender loco, doesn't hesitate, runs really slowly. And this is the concept, to be able more or less to sit or stand and watch trains run. Although the goods yard on that part of the layout will enable me to do an awful lot of shunting as well. So when I want, I can sit over there, I can shunt trains while I've got 2 other trains running around, which I guess is really the ideal. So it's evolved in all sorts of strange ways. Me and Doug were talking out the other day that it's a bit like archaeology here. You know, this was the original workbench built before I was going to have a railway in here. That then was the layer built so that I could build that layer, and then we built this layer. It was all built at this height because when I put the initial layout in, which was just that corner, there were storage units underneath, so it had to go that height. That layout started life as an old desktop in the study, originally European, and then moved in here. So this has evolved, albeit now it works really nicely, and I wish I could say, yeah, I've got a really good plan, but I didn't. I didn't have a plan, it's evolved. I quite often get people very kindly asking me for track plans for most of my layouts. I've only ever done a track plan once, which was for the 009 exhibition layout. Everything else has been get a bit of board, put some track on it, and see what fits. So I must appear very unhelpful to some people because I end up saying, no, I'm sorry, I haven't got a track plan. Having said that, most layouts you can tell from the video what the track plan is. And in any case, unless you've got identically the same space, your track plan is going to be slightly different anyway. There we go. 2 nice BR black locomotives running past. I do like my BR black. like a lot of people, I guess if I was going to be almost rivet counterish and set a period, it would be BR black and early BR green diesels, because I like both those colour schemes. But as I run whatever I like, it's kind of immaterial. You know, I did the other day feel sorry for somebody that seen a particular new loco and said, "Oh, I can't buy it because they didn't preserve any, and I run a preserve railway." And I really struggle with that kind of thinking. If you like it, buy it, put it on your layout. This is all fiction. Even when, you know, I saw somebody the other day, oh, my layout is a perfect recreation of Little Snodgrass, except I've added another siding, and of course I've had to compress it lots. Oh, and because I like running this, I've moved the date a little after it's closed. Well, then it's not Little Snodgrass in 1964, is it? And frankly, you might as well run whatever you like. You will see me quite often run TGVs around this. All sorts of strange things. I'll run LNER alongside Great Western locos. Don't mind. If I like the look of them, I'll run them at the same time on my layout. And for me, that's the only way to be. I know a lot of people want to recreate, usually their youth, I notice, so it becomes nostalgia rather than model railways. Which I get, and that's why some people do BR Blue and so on. But for me, model railway's a model railway. It's a pretend place. As you all know, I'll just run whatever I like. This isn't anywhere at any particular time. It's an eponymous, if that's the right word, eponymous? Anyway, it's just a fictional, typical British railway. Although, as Doug said this morning, that part has come out rather nicely. It really is a nice country junction station with its own goods yard, with the town a little distance away as it would have been. There we go. Our favourite coaches, we've had those the longest we've had anything. They did all our 00 exhibitions, very smooth running. Nice, lovely blood and custard. Don't give a fig what I pull them behind. I just like seeing them run round. It's that great little station area there. And I do like the look, and so I'm going to copy the look through the whole rest of the layout, and then it'll have a whole nice sort of homogeneous feel to it. Nice little branch goods running through there. And hopefully, here we go. There's our J15. That looks rather nice running through there, doesn't it? So you'll be pleased to know that I'm back on 00, and making good efforts now to try and crack on with this. Got 3 lines running, lots of scenery up there. People have taken me to task for having trains running while I build. I've only ever got paint on 1 loco, and I got that off. So I'm afraid I do like watching trains run while I'm building. So I'll quite often be building a bridge or something and wait while the train rumbles underneath. So there we go. As promised, I'll do a little bit of filming of the trains. I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you're getting on with your own railways. I would say another little thing. Quite a few people recently said to me, oh, I'd like a railway, but I don't have room. I'm very fortunate. I've got this big shed, but I've made lots of layouts, especially the N-gauge ones, in very small space. And I would pose a question. Do you not have room for a railway, or do you not have a room for the railway you really want? They're 2 different things. You know, I'm working a little N-gauge one, less than 2 feet by 6 inches. There is no one that can't get that somewhere in their house, behind a door, and whip it on the dining room table when you want to run trains. Are you going to be able to run the Flying Scotsman and a rake of 6 Mark 1 coaches everywhere? No, of course you're not. And people rush out and do that. They buy the locos they like and then realise they've got nowhere to run them. Everyone has got space for a model railway. It just might not be running what you want. But I would, you know, I accept I'm very fortunate to have the shed, and I have the space to run my 00. Anyway, thank you for watching as always. I'm sure we'll get some nice comments and some interesting comments. We might get some nasty comments. I don't know. It does happen. We'll have another video up soon. Getting a bit of camera shake there, sorry about that, but I just wanted to get that shot. Thanks everyone, speak to you again soon.